Okay, we're looking at linear, quadratic, and exponential word problems today. When looking for a linear problem, it's going to be in the format of y equals mx plus b. Usually you're going to have a starting rate and go from there. So if we read this one, Rod is paid an overtime rate of $25 per hour after his basic wage of $600 per week. And I just put in parentheses, that's for a 40-hour work week. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the total pay if he works H hours of overtime. And I didn't use the P and the H in this problem. I used Y and X, but it's the same sort of thing. He has a starting wage of $600 before overtime. So I put that there, and then it's $25 per hour. It doesn't say 25 on top. It's not implying like it does with exponential that you're doubling it every hour. This is just a per hour thing. And so therefore it's not a double, it's not a percentage higher each time where it compounds on top of the other. It's not that. So you just write it in the format of mx plus b, your starting point, and then your slope. That's how much per hour. And then it says, what is his pay after 45 hours? Well, 45 hours, 5 hours of that is over 40. So you do 25 times 5, which is 125, and then add the 600, so $725. This is a quadratic one. A rocket is launched on top of a 101-foot cliff at an initial velocity of 116 feet per second. Use h of t equals negative 16t squared plus vt plus h sub 0 to solve. All right, this h sub 0 means your initial height, so 101 feet. We put that in. And this vt is your velocity, your initial velocity. Now it makes sense. H sub 0, initial height, vt, initial velocity. You just put those numbers in for the v and the t. For the v and the h. All right, now using your calculator, you need to find, the first one says, when does the rocket reach the maximum height? That's going to be the vertex, and that is the x-coordinate. X-coordinate gives us time. So when you go into your calculator and you go to mode 5, and then if you look at 3, we hit that one, and then we load our A, our B, our C in. So negative 16, 116, and 101. Then you hit equals. This one here is actually the answer down here where it says, and I have typos, it says, when does the rocket touch the ground? All right, you're going to have two answers. The first one, you have to hit your SD button. The calculator gives it to you as a radical first, and then hit your SD button and you get 8 seconds rounded. Then the next answer you get is negative 0.8. Well, there is no such thing as going back in time and hitting the ground. So that's just because the rocket was not launched from 0 feet. It was launched from 101 feet. So you just lose that first one, which is negative 0.8 seconds. So you lose it. So the rocket reaches maximum height, it touches the ground at 8 seconds. All right, now the next thing that we get in here tells us the x value of the maximum. That is the time. So again, hit your SD button. That is 3.625 seconds. Then to find when it reaches the maximum height, or what is the maximum height, that's the y value of the vertex. You hit equals again and hit the SD button, and it gives you 311.25 feet. All right, here's another quadratic equation involving a rectangle. A picture that is 7 inches by 9 inches has a frame that is the same all the way around. If the area of the frame in the picture is 143 inches squared, what's the width of the frame? Okay, so I put 7 inches and 9 inches. The frame is the same all the way around, so that's x, 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 x. So our new Width is going to be x plus 7, which is 2x plus 7. Our new length is going to be x plus 9, so that's 2x plus 9, and that area is 143 square inches. So then you do the math where you multiply, and you've got to do this. Remember, we've done this already multiple times in class. So as you work that out, you get this. And then remember, we have to move 143 to the left, and that gives us this. Now, I solved this by factoring, but you could, at this point, you could put it into mode 5-3 and get your 2 answers. And that would be all right. But I went ahead and factored out and factored it on down and used the X method, and that gave me -10 and 2. There is no such thing as -10 inches on a frame. So you lose that answer, so it's 2 inches around. Okay, this is an exponential function. An initial deposit of $500 earns an interest rate of 3.5% annually. How much is in the bank in 20 years? Now, this is compound interest. Yes, this is your starting point, but this is how much you earn each year, meaning you get interest, and then the next year you get interest on the amount you invested, as well as an initial whatever you got for the interest from the year before. So it's compounded on top of itself. That's how you recognize an exponential function versus a linear function. So we put this in our calculator and we get $994.89.